The warm-up lap here in Aragon MotoGP. The last three winners, the same man who's not here. We will have a new winner in Aragon. We'll be watching this one with a close eye. Will he return next week? Will he not? It's sounding more and more
in those last 5 laps, and there's Joan Mir in time.
Who will master Motorland? MotoGP, 5 races to go. And the next lead into turn 1, but he's wide.
Yeah, he's well wide. Morbidelli hugged the inside line, got into the lead briefly. It's a Yamaha second. He rubbed elbows and shoulders with Fabio Quartararo, toughed it out on the brakes at the first corner. Vinales leads.
Look, Nakagami and Dovi's also got a good start. He's made up a couple of decent places.
What a first lap then so far. Mir started 6. He's in 6th place right now. No way through for Miller on Rins, down to reverse corkscrew.
Dream start, as you can see there. Mir going through on Jack Miller. Dovi's made up 5 places. He's up early. He was taken out by Rins on this very corner on lap 1 last year. It's close between his teammate Fabio 14, where Fabio crashed heavily yesterday morning. No dramas on lap 1 here in the Aragon race, but it's Vinales that down the back straight. Look at that advantage on the opening lap. The best opening lap Mavericks had of the 2020 season, full stop.
Of Jack Miller. That's a hard task to beat the Ducati on the back straight here. The Suzuki's gained horsepower this year, 7/10 of a second. Incredible first lap as well by Alex Rins from 10th to 4th. And Marquez versus
Cal Crutchlow got off the line fine, but then seemed to just disappear. He's down 9 places. A lot of work for him to do. He's behind Aleix Espargaro. There is Danilo Petrucci. Just stopped a few places.
Vinales then still looking comfortable at the front of this race. 6/10 his advantage over Fabio
Quartararo's trying to take some chunks out of Vinales and was a bit heavy on the brakes down into turn.
How important it is to get into Q2, as he did for the first time yesterday. Was that Mir lining up Miller coming down the hill into turn 2?
Just behind him, Quartararo. Here's Jack Miller then. Mir has got to try and find a way through on the Aussie.
Behind Jack Miller, that let Quartararo get away, and all the time he lost there, he just failed to. And Alex Marquez says, thank you very much, pinches that spot straight back.
Yeah, good scrap that between the numbers.
Well, about to contend with so many years, Marquez, Rins up the inside of Morbidelli, and now he's having to deal with the younger Marquez.
Said it time and time again, you just never know what you're going to get from Alex Rins on a Sunday, who was very fast this morning in warm-up.
Incredible run to the first corner. He was in 4th place from 10th in sector 1.
Now Maverick Vinales via Quartararo.
Got some thoughts on Jack Miller?
Thinking about the end of the race, and I think he's doing a pretty good job of hanging on, because those soft rear.
The same applies to Dovi as well, who's in 9th place and trying to get into this group, trying to challenge Fabio for second. He's been told to switch to mapping 2 already, whatever that means.
Marquez is Cal Crutchlow trying to regroup from a very poor first lap. He's only in 12th place right now, the Brit, who started on the...
So far so good for Maverick Vinales. Clear air ahead of him. It's exactly what he would have wanted.
So what kind of pace are these guys running at the moment? Vinales was 3/10 clear of Quartararo. Morbidelli really did pick up his pace on that previous lap. Maybe he made a mistake when he dropped into those 49s, because he did a PB.
Lati will be strong. The KTMs will be up there as well, as Rins just goes a bit hot into turn 4.
Rotation here, Alex Rins. Got to bide his time. At the moment, you can see that Maverick Vinales is still 7/10 of a second. It still is. So Rins quickly got a mill. You can see in the background there, top of your picture, Alex Marquez has been able to streak away. About
heading downhill towards turn 14. Is the move coming? An advantage on the Yamaha in that area.
Morbidelli's got Quartararo, Franco Morbidelli, then the 2 Petronas Yamaha SRT boys. And there's Morbidelli out a little bit wide. The pair of them are out wide.
They're
2 for the price of 1
They're
for Joan
both
Mir.
caught napping. Boys then are out of podium contention right now.
I reckon the pair of them, they didn't want to give up on the braking zone there. It was as battle as they possibly could, trying to outdo each other. They both ran wide, and then Mir just said thank you very much, sweeps on through.
He's the fastest man on circuit. He's in 6th place.
Yeah, everybody think he's burying that one as well.
There might be a Marquez winning here then in Aragon. In the background there, Nakagami's now safely through on Jack Miller in 7th. So it's 3 Ducatis.
15-16 onwards, where we're really going to have to pay close attention to those rear tyres. How much then looking back at Alex Rins. Nothing but this turn 15, and he gets good drive again. You can just see pulling a bike length or 2 on.
It's gone through on Danilo Petrucci. He's into 10th. As Rins gets really close there, and look at Alex Marquez losing as well. We may well here have a Suzuki 1-2 on the case, and in the background Alex Marquez is through.
Nails for Davide Brivio coming very, very shortly. Alex Rins, when he hit the front in the Red Bull ring, crashed a Maverick Vinales, and now has he got the speed to try and break away from the pack?
Alex Marquez, his 6th bike, and there's still 15 laps left here.
Yeah, Fabio, first few laps here. Vinales just was out a little bit wide.
Rider, oh yeah, again, Quartararo
yeah.
wide. His front, he cannot hold the line at the moment, Fabio Quartararo.
Well, he's wide on the brakes, and then Fabio Quartararo pretty much from the first lap onwards.
So let's try and take some leads at this moment in time. Morbidelli's 4th ahead of Alex Marquez. You do wonder, don't you, 1 second gap back to Nakagami in 7th place.
Well, Barcelona, Suzuki had to wait 30. It's going for on the inside of Franco Morbidelli. Is Morbidelli yet another victim of the hard-charging Spaniard?
Across the line, Alex Marquez again, a 48.9, the only rider in the 48.
Aragon with 8 successive victories. We've now got an all-Spanish top 4. Rins, Vinales, Mir in MotoGP. Even though he qualified in 11th place, I'm not too sure many people thought Alex Marquez had
on the left. Look at that, he absolutely nailed it. And he went round the outside as well, which is pretty brave.
Suzuki's launch device is, and that was brilliant there. Cal Crutchlow had a real poor start, ran way too hot and ran wide.
Cal Crutchlow, as the lights went out, it looked device, and it's cost them. It's cost them dearly into turn 1.
Absolutely sensational.
Cal Crutchlow's ahead of Dovi now. He's up to 9th, so Dovi's dropped another place.
It's almost
more importantly, another champion.
9th place, and now having to deal with his former factory Ducati and Tech 3 Yamaha teammate Cal Crutchlow.
Rider again was Alex Marquez. Sorry, it was actually just Joan Mir by a tiny mark.
150. Now he's just surrendering World Championship points lap by lap here. About who are behind him are much quicker.
Quartararo's been worried about tyre life all weekend, but he's not done a lot of laps.
With Mir ahead of him in 3rd place as well. This could be going towards Joan Mir leaving, well, not leaving Aragon, because we're
actually going to fall into the hands of the Ducatis here as well, potentially.
He's got no rhythm at all at the moment.
I mean, Dovi
finished him on the brakes into turn 12, or is he not going to be quite close enough? No, he's not. Quartararo defending.
Look at that. I mean, that's another get-out-of-jail-free card for Dovi if it ends up like this right now.
Yeah, only that he's going to have some pace in the second half of the race. Here comes Taka Nakagami. They were on board with Fabio Quartararo. It has been really difficult for Quartararo to get that Yamaha stopped. And again, he can't run the tight line.
No.
He cannot run to Taka Nakagami.
Said TC2 on his pit board. Is that traction control 2? Is that a set in the top 8?
Steve, he's got big bother here because Miller, Dovizioso, Crutchlow, Petrucci, Zarco.
In the meantime, out front, fastest man in this race, Alex Marquez again.
Yep, looks tight, he looks tentative, he's not got the trust in the motorcycle put underneath him right now.
This is the battle you're looking at for 6th place, and Quartararo could arguably be Tetsuhiro Kawata, Alberto Pucci, the dad of Alex, of course, down there.
Watching the Marquez brothers can be a pretty heart-stopping moment on occasion, can't it? I mean,
got him.
Oh, he's in big trouble. Dovizioso is probably going to swallow him up now on the straight as well. Top of your picture, I think Dovi's got... Quartararo will do well, not just to hang on to the top 10, he might be pushed out of the points here, you know.
Place. And now Cal Crutchlow's about to pounce on the number 20 as well. Will he
back through the pack?
Look at Alex Marquez.
Like a stone. Here comes Marquez on Mir. Thought he was going to attack at turn 4. Single point ahead of Joan Mir, but it's potentially going to get much worse for the Frenchman. Oh, it's awesome. I mean, you really do have to take your hat off to Alex Marquez. There are not going to be fighting for a podium in MotoGP. That's exactly the position he finds himself in right now. Got the ride because of his superstar sibling pulling strings inside HRC. Well, he's fully justifying MotoGP history. What a ride by Marquez.
We're coming into that territory soon now, and there's Vinales, then he loses another. But surely Mir will have the edge in top speed. Somehow Maverick Vinales holds on, but here comes Mir. Suzuki 1-2.
The Yamaha just cannot hold the line, can it, in those last couple of corners? We've seen it be a big problem. Maverick Vinales respond. He's getting worse for him. Alex Marquez dive bombs him. Absolutely awesome. Vinales, awful couple of corners there. Terrible sequence for Vinales. 2nd to 4th.
Amazing, isn't it? And Zarco has just passed him.
Yeah, he's in big trouble, isn't he? If there was a camera in the home of Marc Marquez back in Saverne room, for joy, watching his younger brother Alex Marquez produce heroics right now. There's a big twitch there.
Just wonder as well, I mean, this has been an outrageous ride from Alex Marquez, but he's running that soft rear. Will he? 10 laps remain. Suzuki, Repsol Honda. soft tyres, but they're just so good at being able to keep rear end slide there from Alex Marquez. How much has Agro have gone through on him, and soon he'll be out for points.
Yeah, it's a painful experience this for Fabio.
Through on him. Is he about to retire from this race? There's problems here.
You've got
big
to imagine
problems.
that he's just really struggling as well. I mean, this weekend Fabio Quartararo, it's going to be a real test of his pain threshold, his mental fortitude.
1.8 from Fabio Quartararo.
3 or 4 laps, we said. I don't know about holding on to the top 10.
He cannot do anything with it. He just cannot stay on the circuit. It is incredible. And Mavericks'
problems right now. Is it more tyre than physical, or is it a experience for Fabio Quartararo? He's got Oliveira, Alecuona and Bral behind him. I mean, he could be
Catalunya, when there were 2 Suzukis on the podium for the first time since 2007. They were looked to the moon if they get a 1-2 here, but they've got trouble in the hands of Alex Marquez in the 148.
Brilliant by Alex Marquez. I don't think there's been a Suzuki 1-2, so it gives you an indication of how long ago it was.
But it might not be yet.
Alex Marquez, Maverick Vinales.
Taka Nakagami and Jack Miller are having a proper battle further back.
Is Fabio Quartararo going to take this? Takeo Yokoyama, well, the HRC technical, that's a bit of a beast to ride, a bit wayward at times, but Alex Marquez right now working wonders on the RC2.
In Mazzano has boosted them so much, but the confidence that is running through the veins of Alex Marquez.
Absolutely fantastic. Fabio Quartararo is another 151 from him. Actually, he's 2 seconds slower than where he wants to be, than where he needs to be.
In third, Vinales is now 1.7 seconds down on these guys in the top podium. But stranger things have happened, and most of those things have happened this year. Marquez.
Yeah, Rins has got that gap covered to Mir by about 0.4, half a second. This is where I turned very well, bit of understeer. No problems there is Fabio Quartararo, who's somewhat meekly, physical problems all combined and made it an incredibly difficult day for Fabio Quartararo as well. He's got himself into the top 10 because he's been all at sea after Friday. A couple of confidence-draining crashes on there. That's been a really good rescue job by him.
Binder's the leading KTM at the moment in 13th. It's been a difficult make a step forward and have a say in things in the top 10.
Yeah, there's no repeat of previous top 6 race where we were expecting tyre deterioration to play a major factor. There's Danilo Petrucci. Well, there's going to be no repeat of his brilliance from Q1 to the podium in Le Mans last weekend.
Closing on his good friend off circuit, Jack Miller. Crutchlow looking to try and get in the top 8. He'll be furious with what 9th at the moment. Binder has gone through on Aleix Espargaro, the leading KTM man, and then is up into 12th. Out front, laps to go. And now this is the time of the race where there were worries about what happens with the tyre.
Well, he never probably expected himself to be in this position coming into Aragon. Got right onto the rear tyre of the Suzuki man, up into turn 4. Management is, you know, the Honda not particularly famed, is it, for having good tyre life this year in these tricky conditions. Had a few times that shot this year.
If he's this close to Joan Mir on the approach to turn,
Fabio Quartararo will be desperately hoping that Alex Marquez can do him a favour here and try and pinch a few points away from him.
As a rock.
So too is Alex Rins as well. You know, he's wasted a couple of big, but had he not made that mistake, he was looking like he was going to easily pass the Ducatis in those rain conditions.
Well, here it is. It's going to be midway through this corner where you're going to see Alex Marquez try and go through on the inside. Here he goes.
Front tyre on, hasn't he? Which at this stage of the race will be hanging in there better than the soft front. Absolutely brilliant by Alex Marquez. Here in Motorland, Marc Marquez has won here the last 3 years.
Look, his fingers
Alex
crossed.
Marquez brother, truly remarkable. Hats off to him.
World class from the Moto2 world champion.
What's half a second with 4.5 laps to go? Time is on his side. There's pressure mounting and pressure building, and from an unlikely source in the 73
Repsol former teammates Alex Rins and Alex Marquez.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there was not a lot of love lost between those two back in lost at all.
5 laps to
there was
go.
A bit of a twitch there by Rins down the hill into turn 12, wasn't there? Whatsoever to try and win his first MotoGP race, but the fact that it's one of his career-long bitter rival, doesn't it?
The gap's 3/10 at the moment. The gap will be 0.1 by the time they come around. This
my choice might be a Marquez masterstroke here, because he's got that medium front around less as he can carry lean angle as well. at the moment. You've got to say Mir struggling. How much risk will Joan Mir be willing to take? I'm sure he's got a message on his pit board or on the dashboard. It's a bit more about the championship rather than taking risks of two men fighting with two men ahead of him who clearly are not really
The two fastest men in this race at the moment are Alex Marquez.
Strong. Wasn't a million miles away from the podium, so that's not any great surprise. We can see Alex Marquez look on the gas coming through turn 11. So he's definitely used up a lot of that soft rear tyre, but how much of an
Dropping down the hill into turn 14, a bit wide on entry there from Alex Rins. Alex Marquez will round off. Laps remaining when we come around next time. World Championship leader Fabio Quartararo at
the medium front. He can turn it so much tighter with that medium front tyre. He's been better in that corners, all throwing everything at him. Davide Brivio again looking incredibly pensive. Marquez at bay though. Marquez is going to go for it at turn 4. No, he wasn't. He's just continuing to show Alex come then from the rookie.
We had a rookie winning earlier this year in Brad Binder. We thought that was special.
Alex Marquez, you know he's going to throw everything at it. Alex Rins not a championship contender as well. Mir looks like the GP today, unless there's fireworks ahead of him. He's going to be third and seizing the World Championship.
Rins still has the advantage over Alex Marquez. Mir in the background now, 1.1 down. Vinales for Yamaha. Julian Marquez looking on. If you look to the left there, with his comes from Alex Marquez. Down the back straight we go. And on the approach to turn 16, here he comes. A major warning.
Look at his father there in the box on the left-hand side of the screen. He's got his head in his hands. It's Alex who's going to be the winner.
It's not stopped him, has it? It's not stopped Alex at all.
He's
He was
a little bit hot
wide.
again. And Papa Marquez, they're contrasting emotions. Look at this. Alex Marquez running that.
We are going to have an 8th different winner in MotoGP.
Ooh, look at the big. He's not giving this one up though, is he?
Who's going to take the 8th? Who's going to become for the number 36?
And has Alex Rins got this one covered? Has he beaten 10th to 1st, up 9 places? He made a bunch of those before he'd even hit the brakes for the first corner, to be fair. And this will taste so sweet for Alex Rins. Born and bred a stone's throw away from this. Well, that certainly applies to this young man who's what now? A lap and 2 corners away from a fake.
Do you know what? He'll only be 30 points, I think, down in the World Championship if he wins this, Alex Rins. Another twist in the tail in MotoGP 2020. Surely it's Alex Rins to...
And he's been so good here through turns 3, 4 and 5. Alex Marquez has been really strong with that medium front.
Really quickly, Mir has run into trouble, rather surprisingly.
Now then, turn 7, Alex Marquez, this dive bike lengths. There's not a lot of overtaking opportunities left. Here's one of them down the hill into the reverse corkscrew, and it's still...
It's just, you know where he's going to try it.
Yeah, the last couple of corners.
It's the only
place.
He's
going to try and get in the slipstream of that Suzuki. To get that slipstream on the Suzuki, and then try and move up the inside of Alex Rins into those final couple in the lead.
In the meantime, there's 3 tenths between Mir and Vinales. There could yet be a twist in the tail for 3rd place.
On the factory Suzuki, has he done enough? Here comes Alex Marquez trying to get every ounce of slipstream covered. He's running a little bit wide, but it will be a famous Rins home victory in Aragon.
It's Alex Aragon ahead of Alex Marquez, who gets a dry podium to follow up his one in France as well. Mir done from Alex Marquez, the rookie. Back-to-back podiums for him, and Alex Rins takes Suzuki's first win.
Fabio Quartararo, who limps home in 18th place. A nightmare Grand Prix. 4 races to go.
Get out of jail free. Andrea Dovizioso has managed to close under glove that he'd launched. He's now just 15 points down with 4 races to go.